Here, how to solve this type of circuits? This is a very complex circuit. To solve this circuit here, first see that this circuit is having a symmetrical shape. If you draw a line in the middle, it is having symmetry. So the right side half and left side half are going to be similar. That's why it is called as symmetry. So how are you going to solve this type of circuit? Whenever symmetry comes here, then wherever the circuit is going to join here at the line of symmetry, you can disconnect that one. You can just disconnect the circuit and join like this. Hence, it's very simple now. You can solve the problem very easily here. Let us imagine the resistors which are connected to this is R. Then what is an answer? You have to find out the resistance across AB. And this is 2R connected in series. And this is connected in parallel. So this is 2R. So 2R and R are parallel. So you can write 2R into R by 2R plus R. This is because R1 R2 by R1 plus R2 is your formula, general formula. You can write this as 2R square by 3R. 2R by 3 is the solution for this part of the circuit. So this is 2R by 3. 2R by 3 is connected in series with R and R now. So just simplify this circuit and write like this here. And this is 2R by 3. And this is R. And one more R. This completely connected to the two resistors which are below. This is R and R. This is A and B. You can take A and B here also, doesn't matter. You can take A and B here. Now let us see what is going to happen. 2R by 3 is in series with these two. So now the combination of these three will become 2R by 3 plus 2R, because this is the case where resistance is in series. So series means just adding that. So you can write 8R by 3. So the solution for this part of the circuit is 8R by 3. 8R by 3. 8R by 3 is in parallel with this 2R. It is parallel with this 2R, then what happens? If it is parallel with this, again parallel connection means you all know R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Then 8R by 3 into 2R divided by 8R by 3 plus 2R. That's it. Then this can be written as 16R square by 3 divided by 14R by 3, isn't it? LCM. So remove these two and this also. 8, you can take this as 8 by 7R, isn't it? Cancel with 2. 8 by 7R is your solution. The solution for this complete problem can be taken as RA by RAB is 8 by 7R. That's it, isn't it? Simple. Come on. How to solve the problem of this type? If you observe, this is also symmetrical circuit. If you draw a line in the middle, the left part and the right part are going to be same. Symmetry, the concept of symmetry. So whenever you draw a dotted line in the middle, it exactly divides into two halves. Now at such situations, I told you, near the line of symmetry, you have to disconnect these two. Okay, you have to disconnect these two wires and join them like this, as in the previous case. So now how are you going to solve this problem now? I'll just replace this with a new circuit. This is R. You know this is 2R into R by 2R plus R is nothing but 2R by 3. Just now I told you in the previous problem, this is 2R by 3 and this is R. This combined together in the middle, they can be considered as 2R. The same thing happens here. Upper circuit and lower circuits are going to be same, isn't it? They are going to be same here. So you can just write here R, 2R by 3 and this is R again. So So R plus R is 2R, they are in series. So this is a simple circuit which can be replaced with this complex one. Now it's very simple now. 2R by 3 is in series with R plus R, which is 2R. So 2R by 3 plus 2R is nothing but 8R by 3. So this combined together, it is 8R by 3. And the same circuit which is below is also 8R by 3. Can you replace this circuit with this small circuit which is 8R by 3? 8R by 3. In the middle it is 2R, this is A and this is B. So 8R by 3 into, this is just like R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. 8R by 3 into 8R by 3 by 8R by 3 plus 8R by 3, if you do, how much are you going to get? This upper one combined with the lower one, it will become 4R by 3. Now 4R by 3, this 4R by 3 is in parallel with 2R. This combined together, if two resistors are same and they are in parallel, answer will be half of any one. Answer is half of any one. So 8R by 3, 8R by 3, half is 4R by 3. So 4R by 3 is in parallel with 2R. These two are in parallel now. So if these two are in parallel, your answer is 4R by 3. You can write like this here. 4R by 3 into 2R divided by 4R by 3 plus 2R. So this is 8R by 3. How much this is? 10R by 3. Getting cancelled here. This is square. So here square, R gets cancelled here. So 8 by 10R, the answer is 4 by 5R. Therefore, resistance across A and B is going to be 4 by 5R. This is your answer. Oh, understood? Yes. Okay. So this problem is based on Kirchhoff's first law. So if you understand Kirchhoff's first law, it is very easy to do the problem here. So 2 amperes are currents are meeting here. Let us see what happens. For that you should know what is the meaning of Kirchhoff's first law. So for this I am going to draw one circuit here. Let us imagine there are nearly 4 wires. You are going to observe these are almost 5 wires are there. And this is called as junction. This is also called as Kirchhoff's first law or Kirchhoff's junction law. How does this law works? What is this law going to tell you? For that, let us take this is I1 and this is I2. This is I3, I4 and I5. According to Kirchhoff's first law, the algebraic sum of the currents meeting at the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving the junction. So who are meeting at the junction? I1 plus I2 are meeting at the junction. And who are leaving the junction? I3, I4, I5. These are leaving the junction. And the sum of the current meeting at the junction and sum of the currents leaving the junction are going to be same. This is an equation for the first law. Kirchhoff's first law we call it as. So by applying this first law on this circuit, you can find out the solution. This is a circuit where there are 1, 2 and 3 junctions here. He is asking us to find out what is the current coming out through this wire now. First, second and third junction. 2 amperes meet, it is going to become 4 amperes. Among these 4 amperes, 1 ampere is moving away, then what is left out? 3 amperes is left. And this 3 amperes is divided into 1.3 and I. What is this I then? So I is going to become 3 minus 1.3, isn't it? Why is it so? Because I plus 1.3 is going to be 3 amperes. The sum of the current meeting at the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving the junction. Meeting at the junction is 3, or 3 is meeting at the junction, and I plus 1.3 is leaving the junction. So at this junction 3 is meeting, these two are leaving. Meeting is equal to leaving. That's what I am telling. Meeting is equal to leaving. Currents meeting is equal to currents leaving junction. That is called as first law. That's it. It's a very simple circuit. Then what is the answer for this? Can you tell me? The answer is 2.7 amperes. That's it. Amperes. So this is a small example for Kirchhoff's first law. We'll go for the. Huh? Yes. 1.7. 1.7 is an answer, isn't it? That's it. Okay. So this problem is based on Kirchhoff's first law. So if you understand Kirchhoff's first law, it is very easy to do the problem here. So 2 amperes are currents are meeting here. Let us see what happens. For that you should know what is the meaning of Kirchhoff's first law. So for this I am going to draw one circuit here. Let us imagine there are nearly 4 wires. You are going to observe these are almost 5 wires are there. And this is called as junction. This is also called as Kirchhoff's first law or Kirchhoff's junction law. How does this law works? What is this law going to tell you? For that, let us take this is I1 and this is I2. This is I3, I4 and I5. According to Kirchhoff's first law, the algebraic sum of the currents meeting at the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving the junction. So who are meeting at the junction? I1 plus I2 are meeting at the junction. And who are leaving the junction? I3, I4, I5. These are leaving the junction. And the sum of the current meeting at the junction and sum of the currents leaving the junction are going to be same. This is an equation for the first law. Kirchhoff's first law we call it as. So by applying this first law on this circuit, you can find out the solution. This is a circuit where there are 1, 2 and 3 junctions here. He is asking us to find out what is the current coming out through this wire now. First, second and third junction. 2 amperes meet, it is going to become 4 amperes. Among these 4 amperes, 1 ampere is moving away. Then what is left out? 3 amperes is left. And this 3 amperes is divided into 1.3 and I. What is this I then? So I is going to become 3 minus 1.3, isn't it? Why is it so? Because I plus 1.3 is going to be 3 amperes. The sum of the current meeting at the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving the junction. Meeting at the junction is 3, or 3 is meeting at the junction, and I plus 1.3 is leaving the junction. So at this junction 3 is meeting, these two are leaving. Meeting is equal to leaving. That's what I am telling. Meeting is equal to leaving. Currents meeting is equal to currents leaving junction. That is called as first law. That's it. It's a very simple circuit. Then what is the answer for this? Can you tell me? 1.7 is an answer, isn't it? That's it. How will you solve this problem? See, this is also based on Kirchhoff's first law. Can you tell me how to solve this problem now? You have to find out this. This is a multiple circuit. Multiple junctions are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nearly 5 junctions are there. It's a very confusing circuit, but it's not like that. Appears to be very confusing, but it is very easy. How? See, 2 plus 3 combined together, it is going to form 5, isn't it? 5. Then let us see here. See, 1 and 2 are moving away, isn't it? 1 and 2 are moving away means they are previously 3 amperes, isn't it? 1 and 2 are moving away means if they join together, it would be previously there were 3 amperes here, isn't it? So 5. Out of 5, 3 is going up means what should go down? 2. And 2 and 4 combines together, they will become 5 amperes, isn't it? Okay, 6, yes. 6 amperes. And 2 and 4 combined together, 6. Here, from this junction, 2 is coming inside, 6 is also going towards. So 6 and 2 combined together. Now, we shall discuss about Kirchhoff's second law. We shall discuss about Kirchhoff's second law. What is the meaning of the second law? We shall discuss. So before going to the second law, you should understand one thing here. What is that? This is a resistor and this is the current. If the current is flowing in this direction from left to right, what does it mean? Current is flowing from left to right, what does it mean? It means that this is higher potential and this is lower potential. Now just tell me, if the water is flowing from left to right, what does it mean? Left side it is high, right side it is low. That's why it is moving. Water, how does it flows? It flows from high areas to low areas, isn't it? Same thing happens. Current is flowing from left to right means it is flowing from high potential to low potential. That is the meaning here. From where it is starting, it is high potential. From where it is going and ending, that is a lower potential. Now, if this is the loop direction, if some current is flowing from higher to lower, what does it mean? It means that the potential V is going to be minus I into R. You all know that Ohm's law is IR, isn't it? Ohm's law is I into R. Here, the current is flowing from higher to lower and your loop is also from higher to lower. That means that the potential is negative. Understand? You have gone from second year to first year. Promotion. Is it called as promotion or demotion? Demotion. Demotion, which creates a lot of emotion of suicide. Understand? So, this is the meaning here. If it is going from higher to lower, that means one step down becomes minus. Then what is next case here? This is R and this is I. This is higher potential, this is lower potential. Now loop is from lower to higher. From lower to higher, you are going from lower class to higher class. It is promotion plus. So therefore here it will become plus I into R. Understand? This is called as Ohm's law. Here plus because you are going from lower to higher. Here minus because you are going from higher to lower. That's why. So this you have to remember. One more thing you have to remember is, for example, this is a battery, positive and negative potential. If the loop is in this direction, you know, longer solid line is called as higher potential and smaller solid line is called as lower potential. So lower potential to, higher to lower, this is going to become minus E. And for example, this is plus and minus and loop is in this direction, lower to higher, this is lower and this is higher. Loop is from lower to higher, then it is going to be plus E. And what is E here? E is called as EMF. EMF, that is called as electromotive force. What is the meaning of electromotive force? You know what is the meaning of electromotive force? I'll tell you, see. For example, there is one resistor here. This is positive and negative terminal. This is a battery having electromotive force, which is called as EMF. What is the meaning of electromotive force? This is the work done. Electromotive force is the work done on charge carriers. Work done on charge carriers. Understand? To move from lower to higher inside the battery. Inside the battery, this is lower and this is higher. And charges move from lower to higher inside the battery. And that is called as electromotive force. And outside the battery, charges are moving from higher to lower, which is called as potential difference. I'll give small idea to understand this concept here. Let us take, this is a tank. There is a middle wall here. The water in this tank here is up to this level and here is only up to this level. I'm making a small hole here. The water flows from higher to lower by itself. No need of electric motor, and that is called as current here. And if you want to convert this into a fountain, higher to lower, again lower to higher, no? So it should be connected to the electric motor. It's very easy for water to come from higher to lower. If water to come from the tank of your ceiling terrace, water comes to the lower part of the building by itself. But first in the morning you have to pump the water from lower to higher. Pump the ground level water to the syntax tank, and that cannot be possible by sucking. No. What do you do? Electric motor is required, isn't it? Electric motor means electromotive force is required. So this motor will do the work of electromotive force. So inside the battery is just like an electric motor now. Inside the battery, current has to move from lower to higher. That's why it needs some work to be done. And current in the higher, current comes from higher to lower outside the battery, isn't it? That is called as electromotive force. What is the meaning of electromotive force now? Electromotive force is the work done on the charge carriers to push them from lower to higher. Just like motor will do the work to push the water from lower to higher. Water will come by itself from higher to lower. Is there any intelligent person like me who will put the electric motor to come from water from the syntax tank to the lower level of the building? Understand? And you know that water will never come from lower to higher by itself. If the water has to come from lower to higher by itself, then where you will keep the glass? You will keep above the tap. Water will come by itself. No, it's not possible, isn't it? So this is the concept before you understanding the Kirchhoff's second law. Then here, let's see what is going to happen. Now, this is a potential difference you are going to apply. This is higher potential, this is lower potential. Current in the circuit is going to move. This is I, which is getting divided into two parts. As this is a junction here, I1 is moving, I2 is moving. Up to here, I1 is moving. This is a junction. Let us take this is junction A and this is junction B. At A, I is divided into two parts. This is called as galvanometer. Galvanometer is a measuring device, okay, which is having one pointer like this, which will move right or left according to the current passing through that. So galvanometer will show the deflection whenever the current flows. So it is a device which will indicate that current is flowing in the circuit or not. Because no one will go and touch and see, current potundi. Go and touch and see and find whether current is moving or not. You may have to keep some circuit here, some device called as galvanometer. So now I1 is divided into two parts, Ig and I1 minus Ig. So Ig and I2 combines together, it is going to become I2 plus Ig. They are combining to form I2 plus Ig. And here Ig is going means remaining is how much? Here I1 is equal to Ig plus, okay, I1, this is I3, isn't it? I3. So I1 is equal to Ig plus I3 according to what? Kirchhoff's first law, junction law. I want to find out what is I3. I3 is nothing but I1 minus Ig. I1 minus Ig. Now I1 minus Ig, I2 plus Ig, I1 minus Ig plus I2 plus Ig, Ig gets cancelled. It is going to become I1 plus I2, which is again I. So I is entering, you are not coming out. I is coming out. I is entering, I is only coming out. Isn't it? That's it. So what is going to happen now? Here, you have to consider the loop now. You can consider the loop either in a clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. This is called as loop 1. This is loop 2. You have to consider the loops like this to solve the problem, to solve the equations. Now, let me discuss about this loop, how this loop is going to work here now. So, if you observe, you can consider here, this is resistance P. Here, this is resistance Q. And here, R. And here, the resistance is S. So PQRS is the circuit. This is called as a Wheatstone bridge. Okay, this is just like a bridge and not like our bridges. It's different. Electric bridges. This is a Wheatstone bridge, we can say. Now, let us write the equations according to Kirchhoff's second law. In a loop 1, what happens? Let us see. This is a loop 1. Like this you have to consider. So according to this loop is in this direction, current also in this direction. These are the resistors, no? R means P here. And now, current and loop in the same direction will get you minus. So here you can write minus I1 into P. Here also current and loop in the same direction clockwise. Current and loop in the same direction clockwise. It can also be written as Ig, and this is taken as G. Now this is I2Q. In the opposite direction you are moving. So plus I2 into Q is equal to 0. This is called as Kirchhoff's second law. What is second law explaining here? Do you know? The algebraic sum of potential drops. Potential drop means V is equal to IR. This is called as potential drops. The algebraic sum of potential drops in a closed loop is going to be 0. So potential drops in the closed loop is going to be 0. Why this is minus? Because current and loop in the same direction is minus. Here also current and loop in the same direction is minus. Here current is in this direction, loop is in this direction, that's why it is going to be plus. First equation. Next, can you tell me the equation for this circuit? Yes? Tell me. Minus I3 into R. This is opposite direction, current and loop in the opposite direction. Plus I4 into S. And this is also in the opposite direction. Current is moving like this. Loop is clockwise, no? See, you can take anti-clockwise also, but if you take this as an anti-clockwise, this also should be taken as anti-clockwise. One clock, one anti-clock. No. Is it? So what is beginning now? Ig into G is equal to 0. This is equation number 2. Okay? Equation number 2. Now, if the Wheatstone bridge is balanced, okay? Balanced Wheatstone bridge. What is the meaning of balanced Wheatstone bridge? The circuit resistors are connected in such a way that if there is no current passing through this galvanometer, then the balanced Wheatstone bridge is considered. When it is called as balanced Wheatstone bridge? When the resistors PQRS are selected in such a way that no current passes through the galvanometer, then it is called as balanced Wheatstone bridge. And why no current flows through the galvanometer? Generally, galvanometer resistance is very high, and current is very intelligent. It will always follow low resistance path. Current always follows low resistance path. Current will follow in that path where the resistance is less. So current will not turn like this, it will move like that only. But you have to select the resistor which is having lower resistor compared to the galvanometer. That's it. So with this, it is understood that Ig is equal to 0. Ig is equal to 0 means this part is going, this part is going. Then what is left? This goes to right side. Can you write I1P is equal to I2Q? This is 3. And this is also can be written as I3R is equal to I4S. This is equation number 4. Next you consider junction A. At this junction A, I1 is equal to Ig plus I3. As no current is passing through the galvanometer, this is going to be 0. So I1 is equal to I3. Since Ig is 0. Next let us consider near the junction B. At the junction B, what is happening? I2 plus Ig are meeting, and what is leaving? I4 is leaving. Therefore, Ig is 0. I2 is equal to I4. So this is the two equations which should be remembered. I2 equal to I4. Next you take 3 by 4. I1P by I3R is equal to I2Q by I4S. You all know I2 equal to I4. Means this can be cancelled. And also I1 equal to I3. This can be cancelled. This is P by R is equal to Q by S. R, P by Q can also be taken as R by S. This is the equation for a balanced Wheatstone bridge. Hope you understood. That's it.